All right, guys, let's talk about this DC compressor refrigerator from SetPower. This is their RV65D. It's a 68 quart capacity. And if you guys take a look up there, it is a dual zone, which we've seen a lot of lately, but this one is a little different. A little bit of the same, a little bit of difference. But if you guys recall on my van project, I have the SetPower RV45, which is I believe it's a 45 quart. That would make sense, right? And that has worked out well. I'll show you guys as a little comparison later, but let's look at some of the measurements here. This one is the largest capacity fridge that SetPower has. So it's about 31 inches long. And we're just ballparking it here. 18 inches deep and just a little under 20 inches tall. Okay, so this thing weighs about 65 pounds. It's a big fridge. You guys can see from that footprint, but big capacity, 68 quart. So the outside construction here is actually metal. So what you guys see here is I got a couple little magnets that stick to these. Adds a little bit of weight, probably over a plastic framed one or an aluminum framed one, but fridge is going to be a little bit sturdier. This size fridge you're not going to be carrying around a lot anyways. And in that case, I like the magnetic. You might want to accessorize your fridge or something. And instead of putting a bunch of stickers on there, which essentially will never come off, it's nice to have a magnetic base. And you go to national parks and all that, and they got all this stuff's magnetic, maybe a little more expensive. All right, so let's turn this bad boy on. So this is going to have a lot of the features that you would see in any basic DC compressor fridge. It's going to have it's a long press to turn it on. It's going to have your battery protection modes, which is right here. And what that does is if you set it, the higher you set it, that's like the higher the protection. And what it will do is when the host battery that's charging this reaches a certain voltage, it will shut it off. And the lower you go, the lower it will let that voltage go before it shuts off. The whole point of that is to save your battery capacity. Say, for example, if you had it plugged in your car. That's pretty standard. To the right, we have compressor speed, minimum, maximum, pretty standard. And then right here, which is a little different, is we have two cooling zones. So the right one, and you guys see right there the compressor's running. And it is actually showing which side is cooling, which is, I think, kind of cool. So this one, you can go to a max of 50, and I think it's all the way down to -4. We'll take their word for that one on that one. And this one is going to max out at 50 also. But the cool thing is, this can go all the way down, just like the right-hand side. Okay, so it goes just down to 0. And this is Fahrenheit for you guys. So what that means is that this fridge can work as a refrigerator on both sides, a freezer on both sides, or it can work as a freezer on one side. And from what I could tell, it could be either of them, or a refrigerator on the other side. Before I say it could be either of them, let me make sure. Okay, so we'll put that at fridge temp. Let's see if this will let us go down. Look at that, it will. So, yeah, so that's kind of a little different. And why it's different is this is a single compressor unit, okay? It's becoming more and more common to see these single compressor units where they're allowing for a freezer side and a cooling side. Now, usually the size difference between the two is pretty significant. The freezer side is a lot smaller. The fridge size is a lot bigger. And there is a size discrepancy in this one, but it is as you can kind of guess by the equal size of the lids, it's not as dramatic. So we're going to look inside, but basically just kind of imagine it, you know, just this little corner right here is cut out, which is where the compressor sits. Now, the reason I bring up the single compressor is most refrigerators that you would see that look like this, you know, would be very expensive, you know, well into the $1,000 range, and they're going to be a dual compressor, meaning there's a compressor running each side. There's been a lot of fridges that have been coming out to where they're using a single compressor to do the cooling on both sides, which can be different. Like I just talked about, one side could be functioning like a freezer, the other like a refrigerator. And this one is the biggest of those I've seen. Now, I've been running it in my garage for about 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks. And it's been doing pretty good. Let's look inside. I'll run my mouse some more. So right now, this is what we have as, actually it's reversed because the one on the right was the freezer side. But this is what you see in there, okay? And this is a really big one. As you guys could see where I kind of traced it out, that's the size of it. Just as a size comparison, you know, these are just your standard Martinelli's, you know, one of those tall water bottles, plenty of room. This side obviously is a little smaller, but it's really, really big for those, you know, what these combo units like this. Two lights on either side. These are, so it's got the stainless steel body, but the doors here are plastic, but they're real heavy duty. Got a nice seal on it. Comes down like this. All right. So the price wise, this is a new product, but what I'm being told is there is a 12% discount if you use in-game at checkout, and the link, of course, will be in the description. But these are going to go for, gosh, what was it? Like $431 with the discount, something like that. Just a little over 400 bucks. And then later, they're going to have another, you know, they'll probably be on sale for a little bit during the initial launch. But, you know, basically, let's say $450 just to kind of round it off. That's a pretty good deal for a refrigerator this big that has essentially a functional dual zone capacity, where both sides are pretty close to the same size. So this is a good deal. And you know, it's a decent fridge. I mean, it's got a nice metal body. It's not super stylized, but I like it. It's clean. Probably my favorite thing is the touch screen. It's very intuitive. Some fridges you have to, like, you know, long press stuff and go into different menus, and you know, if you do it every day, it's not a big deal. But you know, for somebody like me, who's, you know, is not doing that every day, it can be challenging. So let's go take a peek and look at the RV45 that's in the van, and I'll bring one of those bottles of cider. Okay, so we're in the van, and this is the RV45. I've had this in the van for a while. It's held up to the shocks of going off-road and all that kind of thing, and I like it. Now this one is smaller. It's about, I would recommend looking at the website description. I forgot to bring out my tape measure, but I believe it's about 3 inches narrower as far as the long side here. And I think it was 3 or 4 inches not as deep. So the other one is dimensionally, maybe not significantly larger, but it is definitely larger. And another big difference on this one is just a single zone. So in some ways, if all you needed a fridge, but you didn't really want one as big as the 68 quart one, this one might be a better fit, honestly. And I'm probably just going to keep this RV45 in the van because I think I've mostly just used the refrigerator. But anyways, but you could see here, there's obviously no separation. This is the bottle of Martinelli's I had in the other one in there. The height in this one is very similar, just a little bit shorter. I think it's shorter by about an inch. Here's another example of, you know, your standard, what is that, 24 bottles. Yeah, 24 bottles sitting in there. So pretty big fridge, and of course you get this little side area. So anyways, guys, I like it. I like these SetPowers. They're simple, reasonably priced, but I think hit a nice middle ground in quality. The RV68's their biggest. There'll be a link in the description and that coupon code of in-game if you guys want to check it out, and that's a brand new product. This one right here, also from SetPower, is their RV45. Little smaller. It can also function as a freezer, but you have no dual zone capacity. All right, guys. Thanks.